Hey guys, welcome back to the hardcore world. To start off this episode, we have to get all these pumpkins off the cathedral because I was gonna do a little Halloween video, but I ran out of time and then Halloween happened and all I have to show for it is some pumpkins on the cathedral. In today's episode, I want to start setting up some infrastructure in the world, and I want mainly like a big item transport system. Because right now, all our farms just have like their own storage system, and they don't really go where we need them to go. Because for example, like the iron farm has on-site storage, even though it should go to the actual storage system, and our melon and pumpkin farm has its own storage, even though the only thing we use melons and pumpkins for is trading for emeralds. So I think it would make sense to have those items transported over to where we actually trade with them. So in today's episode, I want to start setting that up in the form of a sewer system. I love the look of sewers, and I think it's such an interesting concept of having this like underground network of tunnels. Of course, I'm going to make them traversable by humans because I think it's just really cool. And then I think it'll make a lot of sense to connect that up to the catacombs underneath the cathedral, because then it just feels like, you know, a secret passageway going from the bottom of the cathedral. So let's start off today by putting villagers where I actually want them. In the case of the librarians, we're going to put them in the library, which we need to build up the interior of. And in the case of the farmer villagers, we're going to create a little structure for them. So let's get cracking with that. Alright, so for now, we're just going to do the bottom half of this interior, which is where all the villagers and stuff are going to go. I want this library to have 2 levels, similar to a lot of other libraries of this style that I've seen. But on the bottom level, we're going to have this big central table, which is where the villagers are going to go. So, once this is finished up, we're going to go grab the villagers and drop them in there, and then we'll save the top half of the library for another time. Here it is with all the villagers in. So basically, for some reason I thought they couldn't jump over trapdoors, so I thought that a full block here would work, but they can, so I replaced it with a chest, which does work, but the problem is they think they can get out, so they just hop up and down. And, I don't know, we'll just use it for a while and see if it gets annoying, because the reason I wanted to use this setup here is that I didn't really want to have to put anything above their heads, because I kind of like the look of this, where it's just, like, all open. But, you know, if worst comes to worst, we can just use glass panes, and they aren't that intrusive. In any case, we got all these villagers in here. Most of these guys are fresh that haven't been traded with, and I'll probably break all of these lecterns at some point so that I can, you know, get the trades I want one by one. But back here, I think the back 5 are my glass guys. This is my mending villager who has a 10 emerald mending trade. He's the only one I kept, but I have a protection 4 villager, but he's not that cheap, and he's like kind of far away. Now that we have all of the librarians cleared out, the next big thing is the farmer villagers, and I think we need a lot more of these guys because I want to expand my melon and pumpkin farm so that we can start trading emeralds at a much higher rate. I'm not exactly sure what kind of structure I want to make for the farmer villagers and what would make sense thematically, but I'm gonna go figure that out, and then let's crack on with a third-person time lapse of me building up the place that they're gonna be housed. Okay, so I've changed my plans a little bit. I really like how these buildings came out, but I don't think they're going to be the best for housing the farmer villagers. Instead, I put my farmer villagers in here, just kind of like along here like this. I don't have that many, and I don't know. Eventually, I might need to move them somewhere else or like put them in these classrooms or something and kind of reformat things in here. But for now, this is going to do just fine. After the time lapse, I did some more work on these and got most of the windows and all the sides in and stuff. And then I redid the roofs because I didn't like how the slabs looked. And instead, we did this thing where it's like stairs and then slabs. So it's kind of a more interesting slope. And I think this little area looks really cool. I want this to be kind of a little seaside wharf. But I think it's going to look really cool. It's going to be like this little seaside marketplace. I really like how these buildings turned out. There's a lot more details I need to add, like trapdoors and like fence gates and stuff to make the facades more interesting. But for now, I think this turned out really good. Now we have our farmer villagers in place and our librarians in place, which means we can start putting in the sewers because we actually have these guys where we want them long term. Let's get started on the sewers. The first sewers we're going to do is going from the schoolhouse where the farmers are to the melon and pumpkin farm, so that the melons and pumpkins just go straight to here and we can just trade them up without having to manually transport them back and forth. And then we're going to have a sewer going from the schoolhouse to the library so that we can just put emeralds in an input chest that's labeled library, and those emeralds will automatically go to the library. And again, we don't have to worry about, filling up our inventory with emeralds and bringing them over to the library. Then we're going to build a sewer from the iron farm over to the storage system. And I think that's all we're going to do on the sewer system for today. So let's get started on that. Alright, I was a little ambitious when I said we were going to do like 3 sewers today, and I think we're just going to stick with the one. The sewer I did end up making is the one from the schoolhouse over to the bottom of the cathedral, which right now is just connected up to the melon and pumpkin farm so that we can have the melons and pumpkins where we need them. However, the sewer kind of goes this way and then that way. So it's already like almost directly underneath the iron farm, and it is a like 2-lane sewer, so we can have the iron farm connected up to that sewer, which I think I'm going to do in the next episode. It should only take like 30 minutes or something, but I want to get this video out. In any case, let's take a look at what we have going on here. We have 2 chests here, which are automatically being filled with melons and pumpkins. So let's take a look at the redstone. It's very ugly redstone as usual, but so basically what we have here is just, this is the water stream coming out from the sewers that is bringing melons and pumpkins. As you can see, it just got sucked up. And right here is a little item filter, so we get pumpkins and melons that go into their respective item elevators. These item elevators are very simple, and I'm sure there's a better option. And so whenever it detects an item in there, it just sends it out to the chest. It works, it works. Now let's go check out this side. Oh man, I forgot. I still need to build the walls on this thing. It's been so long. I just keep procrastinating. But anyway, this is the entrance to the sewers. It's just kind of like this little hole in the wall that we go into. This part of the sewer is just to get us over to the main part of the sewer, because basically I want all of these sewers to be traversable, and I want to be able to walk around in the sewers and, see all the items going everywhere. And then, like I said, this is 2 lanes, so this lane will probably be going in the opposite direction. Oh no! I misplaced something. The other lane will be going the opposite direction, and it will have iron in it. And then, since we're just going to be chucking it in the storage system, which automatically sorts, I can use this lane for just about anything that's going to be going to the storage system. So if we have any other farms we want to connect up, we can just use this lane right here. I think this sewer system is really cool. I like being able to walk around in this little center block, and I think it looks very sewery. I don't know, I think it just looks really cool. And then I haven't really finished this side because we just have this part that sucks up the melons and pumpkins and brings it to the sorting system. But eventually, I think we're going to, have the sewer keep going so that we can go to the library or something. I don't see why we couldn't just have a pipe coming down from the schoolhouse right here and just continue going to the library, since we're going to need that anyway, and this lane just stops right here. Alright, and one more thing. There was a bit of a tragedy in here. I have no idea what could have happened in here, but we're missing like 6 villagers for some reason, and it's only the ones at the front. I'm so perplexed. The only thing that aggroes on villagers is zombies, but I'm in hardcore mode, which means they will turn into zombie villagers 100% of the time, unless they got killed by an iron golem, but there was no iron golem in here. The iron golem has no way of escaping. They don't despawn as far as I'm aware. I am so confused at what happened here. But I figure the only thing I can think of is maybe because they were jumping up and down, there was something weird where they got like stuck in a block and suffocated, but that wouldn't explain why it's only the ones in the front. And yeah, there's no sunlight. The main thing is if a zombie kills a villager and it gets converted, sometimes they'll die because there's sunlight. Sunlight, I have no idea what happened in here. Anyway, I just decided to go ahead and put glass above everyone else's head, and so far, we haven't lost any other villagers. I really have no idea what happened and why it was only these ones in the front. But anyway, we still have all our important villagers. We still have all our glass villagers and our mending villager. So we just lost a couple other ones that didn't have any trades. The episode ended up being pretty short, but we got an insane amount done, where we got all of our villagers that we used cleared out and in their permanent locations, or at least semi-permanent. And we got this little seaside wharf started. I really like how this looks. I want to model this town after kind of like a Mediterranean seaside town with all these interesting, colorful buildings that are all like stacked together and kind of terracotta-ish. Because yeah, this is starting to look really, really cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.